Julio Iglesias has been accused of abuse. What happened? Let's go back to 2001 to Julio Iglesias' mansion in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. There, after seeing an ad on social media, a 22-year-old woman starts working. We'll call her Rebeca, as she doesn't want to give her real name for fear of repercussions. Apparently, Julio only hired Latina women with a physique to his liking. The job is simple. She has to clean the house, and she does that for the first few weeks, but soon things get complicated as they check her phone and don't let her leave the mansion. One day, Julio asks her to massage his feet. Another day, her boss, meaning the staff manager, tells her that besides cleaning the kitchens and all that, she must bathe with Julio in the sea in a bikini. She, who is freaking out, ends up doing it until one night Julio calls Rebeca to his room because he wants to see her. She accepts, but on the way, her boss stops her and informs her that Julio asked if he could sleep with her, and she said yes. Obviously, Rebeca immediately refuses to go to the room, but under pressure from the boss, who warns her that she can't back out now, she eventually agrees. From that night on, these nocturnal visits would become an almost daily occurrence. Rebeca says she worked from 8 in the morning until 11 at night, and then she'd stay with Julio in his room for another couple of hours, where the singer would do whatever he wanted with her, hitting her, touching, very painful vaginal and anal penetrations, everything. Another incident that deeply affected her was when one night Julio couldn't sleep due to severe back pain, so he called her to spend hours sucking his penis and anus, as he claimed it would calm him down. She claims she told him no many times to stop, but he never listened. It seems he only left her alone when Julio's wife was home, or when he wanted to be with another of his employees. Okay, Rebeca's complaint has been joined by Laura's, which is also a fake name. She's a woman who worked for a few months as Julio Iglesias' physical therapist at his mansions in the Dominican Republic and Bahamas. Laura says the work environment was totally hostile, suffering humiliations about her body and irrelevant questions like, "Do you like threesomes? When do you masturbate?" in addition to absolute control over every aspect of their lives. Note that all the girls hired in the house were made to take tests for sexually transmitted diseases, pregnancy tests to control their weight, and even their menstrual cycle. Just like in the previous case, the first 2 weeks of work were normal, until things started to go awry. One day, during lunch, the singer asked to see her breasts because he wanted to check how her breast augmentation surgery had turned out. Another day, while they were doing physical therapy sessions in the sea, Julio began to pinch her nipples, and one day he even put his tongue all the way down her throat. He also invited her to his room at that point, but she firmly said no, and Julio eventually said, "Don't worry, it was all just a joke." Okay, so with all this, on January 5th, a complaint was filed in Spain against Julio Iglesias, accusing him of human trafficking for forced labor and servitude, crimes against sexual freedom, harassment, sexual assault, injuries, as well as crimes against workers' rights. My goodness, and why now? And why didn't they report it at the time? Well, because they had no money, and since they were living in Julio's mansion while working, that would mean ending up on the street. Also, reporting someone so famous is really tough. That's why they waited for a report that Univision and eldiario.es have been working on for several years to finish, so they could pull strings and report him, doing it all through a women's rights organization. I'm telling you, the case will be investigated because the accused is Spanish, but if Julio goes to live in his mansion in the Bahamas, boom! They couldn't judge him because there's no extradition treaty. Okay, so what has Julio Iglesias said? He told Holla magazine that it's all lies and that it will be cleared up in court, don't worry. In fact, the manager of the workers also said that it's all fake and that Julio is a magnificent, generous, and very respectful person towards women. So what do you think about all this? I'll read your comments. Bye, look, business.